Fuck off.
Would you
services.
reverse the cuts on corporation tax?
I think that the cuts on corporation tax are missing the point because we need that money. We need that money at the moment.
Would you reverse it?
Hold on. Inheritance tax.
Would you reverse them?
I think that at the moment, cutting at a time where we need those services and people need those services is the wrong decision to
But
make.
I'm asking you, would you reverse the cut in corporation tax?
But I'm telling you, Andrew, that our priority is
you're
not...
not telling me the question.
I am.
The
I'm
answer.
saying that the cuts in corporation tax, the cuts in inheritance tax, the cuts in capital gains tax...
What's the cut in capital gains tax?
But what's really important, Andrew...
No, excuse me, I'm asking you a question. What's the cut in the capital gains tax?
They've cut the capital gains tax. They did that. They did that as part of the coalition government.
No, they raised the capital gains tax in the coalition government.
Well, what I'm saying, Andrew, and
what you're saying is wrong. They raised the capital gains tax to 28%.
What I'm saying is that they've given tax cuts to absolutely the richest in the country over the past. It is true. At the same time that you've told the people in this country over the last 6 years, we've got to cut our coffee. No, let me finish this point because you've interrupted me, and I want to make this point. It's really serious to people in this country.
What would the capital gains tax be under a Labour government, and how much would that raise compared to now?
But I've told you, Andrew, what our priority is. It's about how we invest in our public services.
No, I'm asking you how you would raise the money. How much money would you recoup?
Cut those taxes.
Excuse me, it's important you answer the questions because you want people's votes. How much extra money would you raise by changing the current corporation tax and capital gains tax structures?
But Andrew, we've talked about in absolute detail about the current tax system, and we said actually that the money services now crippling our NHS.
So you would be able to give them more money by changing the corporation tax and changing the capital gains tax to raise more money.
You don't cut taxes when you need that money to help. You should be investing.
You don't know, do you?
You should be investing in those services. No, Andrew, I'm talking about investment with the money we've currently got. At the moment, the government are not investing that money in our communities, in our areas where it's required. They're spending, they're cutting tax for those the richest, and they're spending money in the wrong places.
I'll give you, because I'm lost.
The tensions between Angela Rayner and Keir Starmer highlight deeper challenges within the Labour Party, rooted in contrasting leadership styles and growing dissatisfaction with the party's direction. Both have become divisive figures, with critics pointing to weaknesses in their leadership and policy approaches. Despite their differences, Rayner and Starmer face similar accusations: lack of depth, unfulfilled promises, and inconsistency on major issues. Rayner presents herself as a champion of the working class, but her blunt style, while resonant with some, has been criticized for lacking substance. Her attacks on Starmer are often seen as reactive, without offering a clear alternative vision for the party. This leaves her open to claims that she focuses more on criticizing others than on developing concrete solutions, undermining her credibility as a potential leader. Critics frequently highlight the inconsistency in her rhetoric, portraying her as more skilled in posturing than in policy. Starmer, by contrast, has cultivated a polished and strategic persona, but is criticized for dishonesty and political opportunism. His leadership is perceived as overly cautious, marked by flip-flopping on key issues like Brexit, immigration, and public spending. This creates the impression of a leader driven by political calculation rather than ideological conviction. In trying to appeal to both Labour's left and centre, Starmer has appeared indecisive, alienating traditional Labour supporters, as well as those who seek bolder, clearer stances. The underlying conflict between Rayner and Starmer reflects Labour's broader identity crisis. Both leaders are trying to navigate competing factions within the party, but their approaches have led to accusations of disconnection and the lack of authenticity. For Labour to regain momentum, it will need a more unified and coherent vision, one that transcends internal rivalries and ambiguous policies. Rayner and Starmer's leadership struggles underscore the deeper issues Labour faces in positioning itself as a credible alternative to the Conservative government.
Are you 100% confident Angela Rayner's done nothing wrong here?
I'm very confident.
100% confident?
I'm very confident in Angela Rayner.
That's different to 100% confident.
Look, don't try and play a game on this. I've been absolutely clear. Angela's answered all those questions. I have full confidence in her. I've expressed that over and over again. But I really think that you should be asking questions about the state of the NHS. I think you should be asking questions about why Blackpool, which was promised levelling up, now has a bigger wage gap between London and the South.
Keir Starmer's handling of questions about Angela Rayner's conduct has sparked controversy and raised concerns about his leadership. When a journalist asked if he was 100% confident that Rayner had done nothing wrong, Starmer deflected, accusing the journalist of trying to play games and redirecting the conversation to the NH. His refusal to give a clear answer has led to suspicions of evasiveness. Critics argue this fits a broader pattern of prioritizing political survival over transparency. By defending Rayner, Starmer may be attempting to shield her from scrutiny or prevent internal labor divisions from becoming public, raising questions about his commitment to openness and accountability.
She said previously, when Boris Johnson was under investigation, he should resign. Should she?
We welcome this investigation because it allows us to draw a line in relation to this matter. I have full confidence in Angela Rayner and that she hasn't broken the rules. She will cooperate with the investigation as you would expect. It is now a matter for the police. We need to let them get on with their job, and I think obviously it's right for her to cooperate. Obviously it's right for us now to give them the space to do the job that they've got to do.
You and her have been under investigation by the police before, and you said at the time if you were found to have broken the law that you would quit. She said she would quit. Should she quit as deputy leader if she's found to have broken the law?
In this case, as you know, she's given answers on the issue many, many times over. She's clearly said she'll cooperate with the police. I do think that now is the time to let the police get on with their investigation, get on the work that they need to do. She'll cooperate with that, which is exactly what you'd expect of her.
But you've made a big deal about bringing honesty and integrity back to politics. I mean, this is about honesty and integrity. Should she quit if she's broken the law?
Well, the investigation is starting today. She'll cooperate with that. We need to let the police get on with their job.
But you can't say whether she should quit if she's broken the law. Surely she'll have to.
Look, she has given answers many times over. She's going to cooperate. Police just need the space and the time to get on with the job that they need to do.
Keir Starmer is reshaping Labour as a centrist party, aiming to attract moderate voters, particularly in key battlegrounds like the Red Wall after the divisive Corbyn era. His focus on pragmatism and avoiding radical left-wing policies seeks to appeal to voters who may have supported the Conservatives. However, this strategy risks alienating Labour's traditional base, particularly those who favour more working-class-oriented policies, represented by figures like Angela Rayner. Rayner's direct style and focus on issues such as fair taxation and workers' rights make her popular among grassroots supporters who feel Labour should remain committed to economic justice. She resonates with many working-class voters who feel disconnected from Labour's centrist shift. If Starmer moves to sideline or remove Rayner, it could be seen as an attempt to consolidate his power and distance the party from its more populist elements. However, doing so risks deepening internal divisions and alienating key voters. Managing the balance between centrist appeal and working-class support will be crucial for Labour's future, and how Starmer handles Rayner's role will play a significant part in shaping the party's direction and electoral success.
Yes. But I think when we're wasting 11.5 billion on overseas climate aid, we are sending 12.8 billion in overseas aid to countries like China and India, some of it. We are indulging 9 million people who are on benefits. We are paying for these legal and illegal migrants who very often are a burden on our economy when they come in. You know, why would you want to try and save 1.3 billion by taking money off people who've worked all their lives, saved all their lives, contributed to the economy all their lives, and arguably need this money more than anybody else? I think it's the most bizarre decision I've almost ever seen in politics.
Critics contend that Keir Starmer's leadership prioritizes loyalty and strict party discipline over fostering open debate among Labour MPs. Left-wing factions, in particular, feel increasingly sidelined when they challenge key decisions, such as cuts to winter fuel payments that disproportionately impact vulnerable population. Some MPs who have voiced opposition to these policies claim they've been discouraged from doing so, reinforcing perceptions of a top-down centralized decision-making process. Starmer's approach has heightened internal tensions, especially with left-leaning MPs and members who believe the party is drifting from its core values. They accuse him of consolidating power by enforcing conformity and suppressing dissent to present a unified image ahead of elections. This has sparked discontent among grassroots supporters, who feel their voices are being ignored in favor of a more centrist agenda, deepening divisions within the party.
A tweet appeared on Diane Abbott's account suggesting that you were lying about having respect for her. Yes or no, have you personally spoken to her since then?
Well, look, we've dealt with the Diane Abbott issue. I made the position absolutely clear last week when I said she was free to run for the election. She's one of the candidates that we now put before the electorate. Yesterday in Bury, we had 10 of our 14 candidates who are ex-services who've been serving their country. So we've got a very good team to put before the country.
I'll ask you the same question again. Have you personally spoken to her?
I've spoken to Diane 2 or 3 months ago. My team have obviously been speaking to her, but that decision is taken, that's clear.
One of the major points of contention is Keir Starmer's failure to personally reach out to Diane Abbott during critical moments of controversy, particularly when she was suspended from the Labour Party in 2023 over comments related to racism. Starmer's lack of communication with Abbott has led to accusations that he is dismissive of her long-standing contributions to the party. Starmer's reported characterization of Abbott as an issue has further intensified these criticisms, with many interpreting it as a dehumanizing and dismissive stance toward one of Labour's most historically significant and most abused MP. This portrayal deepens concerns that Starmer and the current Labour leadership are out of touch with key figures from the party's progressive wing. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join the free Telegram group linked in the description, where we can talk freely and uncensored about important issues like this and support each other. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and become a channel member for exclusive content. See you next time.